What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back for career mode, F1 2018, episode number 16. This is the Russian Grand Prix. I took your feedback on from the last episode. This is going to be post-commentary. So basically, I'm going to be recording the race separately and then editing it and then talking afterwards. So I can fully concentrate on the driving. And to be honest, yeah, there were a lot of things that I didn't really like about live com. The fact that I couldn't really use replay cameras and go into detail about the way that I was driving in certain ways. But now we can do all that stuff. It's going to be back to normal for now. And yeah, hopefully we can enjoy it. We've adapted another chassis parts. That is a major one. And now we are off for qualifying for the Russian Grand Prix. Should be, I'd say, a pretty good round. I feel like Russia is a good circuit for me. One where I can really get in the flow quite well. You can use a lot of the curbing around this circuit, and just overall I feel like the confidence levels around here are pretty high. So heading into Q1, we did the one lap, decided to just bank on that for the rest of the session, but unfortunately it looks like the time probably wasn't good enough versus the rest of the field, getting bumped down to P14. So I thought, okay, we'll go out there again and just monitor the situation and do a lap at the end if we need to. But I ran out of time to do so, and thankfully my time that I did do at the start was just about good enough, getting us through to Q2 by one singular tenth. So that was very, very lucky for us. Q2, the start, we went out again on our used set of Hypersofts that we used in Q1. Wasn't a great time. You can see we're again in P14, but again, we're going to have to go out and try and beat the time. But this time we've actually gone out on a set of ultra soft tires, just to go for something a little bit different. If we can make it into Q3, we'll be starting the race on the middle compounder tire, and we'll be finishing the race on the hypers, and I think that'll be a really good strategy call if it all goes well for us across the line. This should get us through to Q3. No, it doesn't! Well, that was a shock. I was up by like 8 tenths, I think, on my banker time, and I was feeling good. I was feeling great. The Ultras felt really good up against a worn set of Hypers, but it wasn't good enough. So we're out in Q2. It's P12 for the start of the Russian Grand Prix. We've beaten our rival Sergio Perez, but yeah, a bit of a shock, to be honest, and Charles actually makes it through to Q3, so it's a bit of a role reversal between the teammates, him getting through to Q3, and I'm the one that kind of falters, but, you know, we were on the middle compound of tyre. But now that we're starting outside the top 10, we have free range of tyre anyway. We could start on the mediums. Is it the mediums? No, we could start on the softs, or we could start on the tyre that we just qualified on. We'll have to wait and see, but in any case, we're going to try something different to what the front runners are doing, and hopefully it vaults us up the order. It's time for the race.
Good afternoon from Sochi as we prepare to get underway for the Russian Grand Prix. The championship battle has some time to go yet, but still expect no quarter to be given here on this circuit that made its debut in 2014 and has already seen some classic racing. Built on the shores of the Black Sea, the Sochi Autodrome is a 3.6-mile tour around some of the venues built for the 2014 Winter Olympic Games. Close barriers may make overtakes more challenging, but with 56% of the lap taken absolutely flat out, we certainly won't be wanting for pure speed. A fitting arena then to do battle at the pinnacle of motorsport. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Sauber. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, and Kimi Räikkönen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Perez, Max Verstappen and Grosjean, Leclerc, Ocon, Mr. Monaco and Lewis Hamilton, Magnussen, Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty, Carlos Sainz, and Gasly, Van Dorn, Hulkenberg, Brendan Hartley and Fernando Alonso, Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Alright, so here we are on the grid of the Russian Grand Prix. We've actually really lucked out on this one. We are starting from P9, so got promoted up like 3 places at the start of this race, so pretty much they're line of stone with our teammate who qualified for Q3, and he has to start on the Hypers, whereas we have the choice to start on the Ultras, which is exactly what we're going to do. I think Hamilton and also Ricciardo got grid penalties. Vettel and Verstappen got grid penalties as well, but they didn't really move down very far down the grid, so interesting plays there from most of the AI today. They're taking a lot of either gearbox penalties or just straight up power unit penalties. It's getting to that point in the season where they're really starting to feel the effects of some, lack of reliability. But here we go, ready for the start of the race. 5 red lights and away we go for the 6th to last race of the season. I don't know why I quoted that, but anyway, up to turn 1. We've got Hamilton on the inside. I didn't see him on the apex of that corner there, and he actually tags us. We got kind of spun into a half spin, but we're able to carry on. It's 3 wide heading into turn 2, and Hamilton goes for the dive on Esteban Ocon. I'm not sure if any damage was conceded there by the Force India driver, but Hamilton muscles his way inside the top 10 now, and a bit of a shaky start for us. We quickly gain back some momentum, and a quick little lunge there up the inside of Ocon and Hamilton there for good measure, and that puts us back up inside the top 9, I think it is there. So yeah, very shaky. We could have easily had a massive tangle with Hamilton. Thankfully his car kind of straightened us back up again, and we were able to carry on. This is Ocon having a go at us in the turn 1, and he has an engine failure right as he goes for the move. That's so unlucky. So unlucky. I think that's contact back there as well. It looks like there's a Williams or a, what was almost looked like a Mercedes back there that was getting tangled up, but I think my eyes were just playing tricks on me. But there it is. That is Sergei Sirotkin out of his home Grand Prix.
Okay, the safety car is out. The safety car is out.
I don't think old mate Putin in the grandstands will be too happy about that one. He'll probably be ordering Williams to bring out the spare car, but we have a safety car here in this Russian Grand Prix. This is certainly going to change the game here. Not for us though. We still have to stretch it out quite far before our Hypersofts can make it to the end of the Grand Prix. But right as that happened, my game crashed. Again, this is 2 races in a row where my game has crashed in the middle of a career mode episode. This is the restart. I had to do the whole race again, obviously. And the exact same thing happened. It was Ocon with an engine failure at the start of lap 2. Same spot, same everything. So, I mean, that right there kind of confirms that failures are scripted heading into a race, which I kind of knew about anyway. But, again, the safety car was drawn out. My teammate Charles Leclerc has dived in for another set of Hypersoft tyres. Another set. If you're going to dive in for any tyres, why not chuck on the Ultras, or at least a compound that is different? That way you have potentially the option of going to the end. But now Charles is absolutely forced into doing another stop after this. I don't think that was the right call. To be honest, there's not much gain in getting like 2 lap fresher Hypersoft tyres when the tyre wear isn't really that harsh anyway. But the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Raikkonen leads the pack. I think we're in like P5. P4 actually, wow. That is fantastic track position to be having at the start of this Grand Prix. We're on the Ultras as well. A lot of these guys in front of us are on Hypers, and they're going to be stopping very soon for new tyres. So we will have the lead of this Grand Prix all in due course. Here goes Hamilton. Very close between the two of us again into turn 1. It seems like I'm really struggling on the restarts of these races. I just think it's the carcass temperature of the tyres. I do absolutely no heating up the tyres, and that was a wake-up call. From now on, we need to look after the tyres, just make sure that they're still warm in the restarts, and we'll actually be able to fight off of those. But we'll live and we'll learn for next time. But Hamilton got past us, and then literally like a lap or two later, it felt like his hypers just died. They fell off the cliff. Maybe he overheated them too much, or he's just trying to nurse them to the point where he can get his ultras to the end. But at this point, he is really struggling. He's fallen into the clutches of us so much, and it's just going to be a matter of time before we get past him again. Magnussen, right behind us, looking pretty threatening, so we're going to chuck it up in overtake mode and overtake Hamilton before we can get overtaken ourselves. Hamilton with a lock up on the inside. Very, very close to contact being made there, and we get through for P4 once again. Here's the replay. This is quite scary as well, because Hamilton was on the inside. He locked up. I knew he was going to send himself wide because of that lock-up, so I had to leave extra space as I turned in, and I just about got that right with judging how deep Hamilton was going to go into the corner. We negotiate that. A few of the leaders have now made their stops. Verstappen responds on the next lap, and that relinquishes us into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix. As you'd expect, these guys going on to ultra soft tyres, and they'll be running to the end quite easily. We'll be stopping in about 5-6 laps time, and we'll have the hypers, we'll have a tyre advantage versus some of the race leaders here, so this could really play into our favour. As long as we can keep up the pace. At this point, I was really pushing on as much as I possibly could, trying to pump out some personal bests. You can see right there, I was only a 10th away from my best all race. So you can tell I'm absolutely gunning for it at the moment. This is Sebastian Vettel, who was on the soft compound tyres. I don't know if he needs to make another stop in this race, but that's an interesting tyre choice. He now moves up into P2. We're coming in at the end of this lap now, and fitting on the hypers. I've noticed in the background that Bottas, but in particular Verstappen, have been lighting up the fastest lap leaderboards, and I know that they've been pushing. So Verstappen's going to get the undercut. He's going to rejoin the lead. I'd imagine people like Hamilton and even Bottas now are going to come into the fray. So it's probably going to be effective like P5, but with the hypers, with a lot of grip, a lot of confidence, we might be able to come back at these guys and potentially fight our way back onto the podium. I say back onto the podium. We're going to earn our way onto the podium as we rejoin right in front of Ricciardo, who gets tangled up behind Magnussen, I think it was. But yeah, Ricciardo in the fastest car in the field. You can imagine it didn't take him long to cruise up onto the back of us now. But this is actually our first lap in clear air on the fresh tyres, and I thought, sod it. Let's just go for it, see if we can set a fastest lap and keep Ricciardo at bay by just going as absolutely fast as we can. You know, I normally do that anyway, but at this point, I was doing so in a manner that just completely depleted my battery. Wanted to get that fastest lap, want to get some bragging rights over my teammate, over my rivals, and hopefully leapfrog myself towards the slipstream, the DRS of Hamilton, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep up the momentum. I used up too much of my battery, in all honesty, and then Ricciardo strung together a really good lap. My hypers, you know, they lost that like green edge, and Ricciardo just smashed past us. So we had to let him go through. Well, we didn't let him go through. He forced his way through, and now we're just following him in the slipstream and using him to tow us along towards Hamilton. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're edging closer. We're putting in some really, really good laps, but at this point, we're still waiting.
Safety car. No overtaking. Reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up.
Later.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Stop the car, please, on track, Max. Stop the car, please.
Fuck! What a fucking joke all the fucking time with this shit, honestly.
So Max is out of this Russian Grand Prix, and understandably he is super annoyed at that. Apologies about the language. I'll have to make sure the editor takes care of that one next time. The editor as in being me. But anyway, we have a safety car once again for the dying laps of this Russian Grand Prix. There's going to be 1, maybe 2 laps of green flag racing here. We're in awesome position with hyper soft tyres. They are getting on a little bit, but the safety car will help preserve the life of these. So as we get ready to rejoin in this race once again, we're going to absolutely make sure that these tyres are raring to go once that safety car pulls in. And this could be our chance to win a race. If not, get a podium. So let's set this up as we restart, get a nice flowing run onto the final 2 corners, and from here it's green flag racing. We can overtake from this point. So up the inside of our fellow countryman Daniel Ricciardo. Thank you very much. That is P5. Next up, Hamilton. You know, we've overtaken him before. We can do it again. So let's see what we can do. Up next, Raikkonen, then Bottas, and then Raikkonen. I have completely mucked that up. Raikkonen is in 2 spots. Vettel leads the Grand Prix, shall I say. It's the last lap of the Russian Grand Prix. Who cares where anyone is? We just need to overtake them all. So let's see what we can do. A little bit of... No, it's not even DRS. So we didn't get 3 laps worth of green flag running, but we're just having to make do with what we've got. It's only P5 at the moment, but we're getting ever closer to Lewis Hamilton now, using up all the battery. We've got plenty of fuel still on board, so we're absolutely maxing that out in rich revs. Through to the final couple of corners, we can see Hamilton is going slightly defensive, and maybe if we get a god run through the final corner, we might dive up the inside. He's left the space, but we're actually going to give him the spots.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more.
I'm really annoyed. That was really 50-50 at the last corner there. Like, I didn't want to feel like I cheated my way to an extra position there. And if I would have held on to it, I feel like I would have done so. So I thought, I really didn't want to give that place up, but I felt like I had to on the basis of fairness. So Lewis, you're really lucky. You get P4. I could have easily stolen that away from you, but I will let you have it on this occasion. It's P5. 10 points. And in some ways, a little bit of redemption after what happened in the last episode in Singapore. A good haul of points. I'll certainly take that. You know, it doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things in terms of the championship, but it does a world of good for the constructors, and, you know, if there was prize money involved, Sauber would be well happy.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. Would you say that your rival is still on your level?
Yeah, you can't really underestimate anyone on this F1 2018 game. The AI on this game have really stepped it up. You can see that clearly with Charles. So, I mean, who knows what his overall AI is percentage-wise. You know, each AI level has like a rating probably out of 100. I'd say Charles is right up there, but Sergio is probably just as equal to him, I would say. But yeah, be very interesting to see what we would do up against someone like Sergio Perez in another team. But great results today. 10 points. We have a contract negotiation now. And given the point where we are in the championship, we're actually going to go all in on resource point bonuses. We don't care about simultaneous development. Going straight for the resource points. And we get it.
Okay, that proposal looks good. It seems all parties are happy with the deal, so it'll commence at the next race weekend.
So, the reason why I've gone for max resource points there is we're consolidating all the upgrades that we've had so far this season. We're pretty much done now for upgrades in terms of this year's car. So that's why I completely sacked off simultaneous development. We're only going to do one upgrade per episode, if even we do that. Because we're going to be adapting all of our parts of the 2019 season. Better to get the higher bonuses as opposed to multiple upgrades per department when we're not really going to upgrade anyway. So there's a bit of a tip for you guys to just, you know, manipulate and get the most out of your contract at a particular point in the season. We're going to continue to adapt parts, and that's all we can spend for this episode. So we've already covered off 5 parts already in just a couple of episodes. So hopefully by the time we get to Abu Dhabi, we will have consolidated everything and maybe have upgraded 1 or 2 more parts of the car. So yeah, going forward, I'm not too sure if I'm actually going to work on the chassis or the aero, because when you upgrade those parts of the car, then you'll have to make adaptations. So if anything, I feel like we should just do power unit for the rest of the season. That way we don't have to do adaptations for it to work. They'll just work as normal. But guys, that's been this episode for today. Hopefully you did enjoy. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Did I make the right decision there in letting Hamilton go? I think it might be split pretty evenly in the comments section, but I thought I get enough flack as it is for taking the piss out of the AI, so I thought on this occasion I'll let you keep this one. Until the next episode, I'll see you guys next time.